Uh, Good evening, students. So today's topic of discussion is on biomedical waste, and if time permits, I'll continue with the disaster management. Am I audible and clear for everyone?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah, today, no, just before the start of this presentation, I just want to give you an overview about this biomedical waste management so that later you can only answer to all these MCQs. Okay. So, what is a biomedical waste? So biomedical waste is what? Any infectious or the hazardous waste that is generated during the process of examination or during any procedure or during immunization, which poses a potential risk to the humans or the animals. So this is the meaning of what? Biomedical waste. Anything that is a waste that is generated during the examination, diagnosis, treatment, or during immunization. These words are very important to define it as a biomedical waste. And these type of waste, how they are very much hazardous or a risk for the humans or any living organisms. Now, if you see the thing here, so what is the content of this biomedical waste, especially in India? So many the latest survey report it has shown that majority of the biomedical waste is constituted by the general waste, that is food waste or from the hospital sweeping waste. So this constitutes the majority of the waste, which accounts for 53%. Why I am telling you this? Because the questions from this particular section has been asked many times. Then after this general waste, which constitutes more than 50% of the hospital waste, the other waste are paper waste. It constitutes nearly 15%. Am I audible,
Yes, ma'am.
students? Yeah. Then plastic waste. How do you remember this plastic waste as a 10%? Be very, very careful. Plastic, PL. So just remember, P means 10%. Yes. So L means just make it as zero. So plastic waste, it is just a mnemonic for you to remember. It is usually how much it is? 10%. Then what about rags? Rags, they constitute 15%. Then the sharp instruments, that is like a syringe, needles, or any sharp instruments or scalpel blades, they constitute only 1%. And what about this infectious waste? It is 1.5%. Students, please remember these numbers. Infectious waste, I. Okay. So just
Okay.
remember that it will be somewhere in the number 1 only. So it won't be more than that, 1.5 or 1.2, any number which is closest to this. Just say that infectious waste is 1.5 or 1.2 if the options are like that. Then metals also or any sharp instruments, they are not much. They are also again how much it is? 1 only. Just remember, METAL at the end, L is there. So again you just imagine that it is also very less, it is 1%. Then what about this glass? This is very, very important. So this glass, that is generated from what? Ampules or vials. So vials, all this, they constitute the glass waste, and they nearly account for 4%. Please remember this. Glass, they account for 4%. Yes. Now can you tell me general waste how much it is? How much is
53.
the general waste, students? It is more
52.
than.
More than half.
Hello, Mahavir. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Akash, Smriti, Roshan, and other students also, general waste, remember 53%. Then infectious waste, don't think of any higher number, only 1.5. Glass, G. So that is again 4%. Then again metal, it is only 1%. And rest paper, it is 10%. Plastic, it is 10%. Paper, it is 15%. Now, even though this infectious waste, sharp items, and glass items are very less in number as compared to this general waste, but still they are very, very dangerous to the general public, because there are high chances of spreading of infections hepatitis or HIV or any other bloodborne infections. Most commonly, they are spread from these items itself. or anybody who are you are handling these glass items, no, again they are very much risk of getting cuts or injuries from these glass items. So our intention is how carefully we need to dispose of these three type of waste. That is all about the biomedical waste management. Yes. Next, some basic introduction about this biomedical waste. So this biomedical waste, it is totally guided and controlled by the Environmental Protection Act, that is EPA, Environmental Protection Act, which was given in the year 1986. So this act particularly, whatever is there, it was given. So it contains how many sections? It has got 4 chapters. Remember students, any act, it usually contains some chapters, like in our park textbook, some communicable diseases, health and disease, so like individual chapters are there. So like this only, this particular act, Environmental Protection Act, has got how many chapters students? Four
Four
chapters.
chapters.
Then these 4 chapters, there are how many sections?
20.
28 sections are there. How many sections?
28.
28 sections totally. Now this biomedical waste, it talks this Environmental Protection Act. In this biomedical waste, it is exclusively described under the section 6, 8 and 25. Just remember this, it can be asked as an MCQ for you. So this biomedical waste comes under which act? Environmental Protection Act of 1986, and this act has got 4 chapters. How many chapters students? Four
Four chapters.
chapters. And how many sections are there within these chapters? 28
20.
sections are there. And under which section this biomedical waste is described? 6, 8, and somewhere closer to the last section, that is 25 section. Yes. So these 3 sections, they exclusively talk about this biomedical waste. And apart from this section, when we look at this biomedical waste in this act, it has got 5 schedules. How many schedules are there? 5 schedules. And this is according to which one? Older one. So Biomedical Act of 1998. So in this Environmental Protection Act, biomedical waste management has been described, and according to 1998 guidelines, how many schedules are there students? 5 schedules are there. Earlier the MCQs were asked on these 5 schedules. Now I don't think they will ask anything on these 5 schedules, because now we have come to the recent guidelines for biomedical waste of 2016. In between also in 2000 and 2013 also some modifications are were done to this biomedical waste management, but they are nowhere followed now. Now currently we are following only biomedical waste management guidelines of which one? 2016, of 2016. Are you all clear with this students? In this 2016, again how many schedules are there? 4 schedules are there, because in earlier one 1998 guideline, how many schedules were there? 5 schedules were there. Now it has been reduced and only 4 schedules were made. Students, are you all clear with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Roshan and other students,
Yes, ma'am.
newcomers, are you all catching my point?
Yes, ma'am.
So any guidelines, it will be under one act. So BMW guideline is under Environmental Protection Act of 1986, and it is under section which one? 6, 8 and 25. And this biomedical waste management guidelines, it was given in 1998 and later modified in 2000, then modified in 2013, then recently it has been modified in which year? 2016. It has been modified in which year students? 2016.
2000.
And 2016 we are following it now, and even today also we are following this one only. In this, how many schedules are there? 4 schedules are there. And MCQ can be asked on this. So let me tell you what are these schedules. So schedule 1 of BMW biomedical waste, it describes about how to categorize the biomedical waste, then how to segregate. Like we have seen no in the earlier, like there were paper waste or general waste or sharp waste. So how to separate this waste, then how to treat them, then that means what chemicals or what things to be added so that to make them inert, then how to dispose this. So all these things are described in which schedule? Schedule 1. Schedule 2, it talks about standards for treatment disposal of biomedical waste. Schedule 3 is very important, because this schedule 3, It is not given in the older guideline of 1998. Students remember schedule 3 talks about who are the corresponding authorities and who are their what are their duties, like who is the person in charge for this biomedical waste management and what are their respective duties. It is spoken in schedule 3 and this schedule has been newly added in this 2016 biomedical waste management guideline. I think this can be asked as an MCQ for you. What is the section 3 of biomedical waste management uh, schedule of 2016 guidelines? So what is it? It includes who are the authorities and who are the what are the duties of these authorities or the officers. Then schedule 4 it talks about the labels. So I think you remember about these labels for biomedical waste. Something like will be like this, or if it is recyclable waste. Hello, Siddhika. Okay. So I'll talk about these labels also. Like each type of waste, it has got different type of labels, and we need to differentiate those labels also. Yes, students. Now, are you all clear with this basic introduction? Because from here on, many questions can be asked. BMW. It is included under which particular act? That is Environmental Protection Act of 1986. And how
Yes,
many
ma'am. Yes.
chapters are there in this EPA? Students,
Four chapters, ma'am.
four chapters. And how many sections are there?
28.
28 sections. And biomedical waste is described under which section? Only three sections. Section 3, 8, and
25,
25. Then
6, 8.
this biomedical waste guidelines, it was first given in 1998. Then so many modifications were done in between, and
2000.
currently we are following 2016. How it is different from the older guideline? In 2016, we have got only four schedules. So
Schedule.
just know the schedule. So fourth schedule, it includes talks about the labels, and third schedule is very very important because which was not there in the older schedule. It talks about the who are the officers and their duties. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Then very important thing for you to remember here is the BMW, it is included under which ministry? Ministry of Environment and Forest. Yes, students,
Yes,
this
ma'am.
particular Environmental Protection Act, which includes BMW, it comes under which ministry of government? It is included
Environment and
under
policy.
Ministry of Environment and Forest. Very, very important. But 2016, this particular ministry even includes Department of Climate Change also. Department of Climate Change. Please remember this, because if the option given that which ministry is taking care of this BMW or Environmental Protection Act, just don't blindly say that it is Ministry of Environment and Forest. Now the recent thing that has been added, that the Climate Department is also added to this Environment and Forest Ministry. Yes. So
Yes,
look
ma'am.
for the option which talks about Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Yes, are you
Yes,
all
ma'am.
clear with this?
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
Yes,
many
ma'am.
MCQs again it can come from this BMW introduction itself. Now, this biomedical waste management guidelines, it is included only for hospital waste. Do you all agree? But this guideline not applicable for which type of waste? Again, it can be a very important MCQ for you. Like it is not applicable for radioactive waste. Yes, if they say that BMW waste is applicable for radioactive waste, please don't tick for that. It is a wrong option because this itself has got separate guidelines. Then any dangerous chemicals are there. Again, for this biomedical waste guidelines are not applicable. And municipal solid waste, all our household waste. I think daily morning, Akash, near your house, this municipality or Kannada speaking that morning he will come and
Yes,
shout,
ma'am.
no? Yeah, so all this comes under municipal solid waste. It doesn't carry all our hospital waste. So it itself is a separate entity. Then e-waste means what? Smriti, it is electronic waste. All our computers, gadgets, or telephone. So all this electronic waste, it itself has got a separate guideline. And all these genetically engineered microorganisms or any dangerous microorganisms, all this has got separate guidelines. They themselves has got separate guidelines. So this biomedical waste management doesn't include any of these guidelines for these type of waste. It includes guidelines only for the waste that are generated from hospital. Just remember this. hospital generated waste. Even during immunization also, whatever the waste is generated, that waste also falls under this biomedical waste management guideline. So you should know which waste this guideline is applicable and to which waste this guidelines is not applicable. If the question is asked for e-waste, biomedical waste management is applicable, no, it is not applicable. Yes, fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, just I want to give you a touch of the older schedule also. 1998, I told biomedical waste management rules 1998. It has got how many schedules? Five schedules.
Five schedules.
Now, I don't think they will ask this because no more it is in use. It is outdated. Because earlier, if you see the MCQs, many questions were asked on this five schedules. What is schedule 5? What does it talk about? Like it talks about disposal and treatment. What is schedule 1? It is same in 1998 and today also. That is, they categorize, they separate them, segregate, then they talk about how to treat them and how to dispose them. Then schedule 2, it talks about color coding. Like if there is a infectious waste, what color to be used? If there is a sharp waste, what color to be used? So different colors and what type of containers or bags to be used. Then
Yes,
schedule
ma'am.
3 talks about labels. Now students, now you tell me in 2016, what is the schedule 3? It is talking about newcomers. Am I audible? Newcomers, newcomers, Smriti, Akash, Roshan,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
others. Yeah. So
Corresponding
what is the
authorities
difference
and
in
duties.
schedule
Corresponding
3?
authorities and duties.
Corresponding authority and
Excellent.
duty.
That is who are the officers and what are their duties. This is very, very important because this can be asked for you. Then schedule 4 again it talks about the labels, all the symbols and all. And again schedule 5 talks about what type of disposal, how it should be thrown out. Next, this is very important. I think once in FMG also this particular question from this aspect has been asked. I think students, if you have gone through this your previous papers, this classification of hospital generated waste was given by World Health Organization. According to this, the hospital waste can be categorized into infectious waste. Students, just remember what all items are included under infectious waste, like laboratory cultures or waste from the wards or swabs, that is tissue swabs or equipments. So these are the items that are included under infectious waste. That means what? These are the waste, they cause infections like contagious infections like hepatitis, HIV, or any other infections. Then what are pathological waste? Because a question has been asked. Human tissue like body parts, body fluids, or fetus. This question has been asked. Students, remember, if the question is asked a dead fetus, it is categorized under which type of waste? It is a pathological waste. Yes?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Or any amputated limb or placenta. All this comes under which one? Pathological human waste. Then what about sharp waste? It includes needles, then scalpels, knives or broken glasses. Then pharmaceutical waste. It contains what? Expired drugs. Or the drugs, it may be in the form of solid or it may be in the form of liquid. So it contains the expired drugs. Then what about this genotoxic waste? Genotoxic waste means what? They will directly go and harm our genetic material. What is the genetic material? That is the DNA. So
Yes,
these
ma'am.
are the substances which has got direct entry into the cell nucleus, nucleolus, and directly hit the gene and the DNA, genetic material, and it will damage it. So these are nothing but the usually cancer therapy drugs or the cytotoxic drugs. Students, remember, genotoxic waste, it includes what? Cytotoxic drugs which are oftenly used in cancer therapy. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Then chemical waste. Again, we remember here all our X-ray department, radiology department. X-ray has been shooted. Then film is there. Yes, Smriti, can you tell me what is dangerous here? Silver. Smriti, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Others? Okay. Newcomers? Fine. So, what is chemical waste means? Just think that any chemical that is generated, especially X-ray developers. where silver is produced. So these chemicals are potentially harmful. And in lab also, any chemicals or reagents that are there, they are categorized under chemical waste. Then another category of waste is waste containing heavy metals. Students, just stress here. Heavy metal means, remember, thermometer, sphygmomanometer, or any batteries, lithium, because all this contains heavy metals like mercury. Mercury is what? It is a heavy metal. Yes, heavy metal. Now, just here only, I want to talk to you about the mercury. Why mercury is dangerous? Students, can you tell me why mercury is a dangerous? It is the only metal that exists at the liquid in the room temperature. Yes,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
this metal, mercury, it is very bad to our human body. Why? Because it is a neurotoxin. Neurotoxin. Why? Because it crosses the blood brain barrier. It crosses what? Blood brain barrier. And when it crosses the blood brain barrier, and over a period of time, that is chronic toxicity, or if it is an acute toxicity, then what happens? It causes ataxia. It causes what?
Attacks.
Ataxia. Then after that, slowly it causes what? Neurological changes. Then along with this, it will also lead to something like what we call insane behavior. The person will start behaving in an abnormal way. Then there may be chances that peripheral neuritis or numbness of the peripheries will be there if there is a mercury toxicity. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And apart from that, if mercury directly comes in contact with the skin, it will be absorbed from the skin, then it will enter the systemic circulation. Then another thing very important is that this mercury toxicity, if it is left like that, apart from the neurological complications, it also causes what? Renal complication. That is, it damages the kidney and it results in the renal failure. Then ultimately, it will result in what? Death. Yes. Now,
Yes,
can
ma'am.
you tell me what is this miniature disease? Miniature disease that occurred in Japan, because very important for you, because a question can be asked related to mercury poisoning. Can anybody, Akash, Smriti, Roshan, and others?
Ma'am.
Rashes in the hand.
Huh?
Rashes in the hand. Miniature
Yeah,
disease.
rashes in the hand. What happened? No, well, actually, during 1960s and all, so there was one factory in Japan, and especially in the place Miniata. So what happened? That factory Miniata place, that factory used to release lot of mercury as a what factory waste into the sea. Into where? Sea. Now in the sea, what is present? Fishes are present. Now these fishes, what happened? This mercury went and got into the bodies of the fishes, and some of the mercury also they got deposited in what? It got deposited in the bottom of the sea. Yes. Now what happened? The microbes started acting on this. Microbes, remember this. Now this microbes action, what happened? This inorganic mercury that was released from the factory was converted into organic mercury. Was converted into what? Organic mercury. And what is the name of this organic mercury? Methyl mercury. That is what? Methyl mercury. Students, remember this. This methyl mercury is very toxic. Very toxic. And then what happened? This methyl mercury, it entered the fishes, and man consumed the fishes. And then what happened? Man started getting this methyl mercury into his body, and over a period of time, all the neurological complications started. And then along with this, what happened? Renal complications, GI complications. Then ultimately it resulted in paralysis, mental confusion, then death. Then what? Death. So this is about what? Miniature disease of the mercury poisoning. Yes, this episode occur in Japan, Miniature place, and this is basically because of what? Methyl mercury, which is an organic mercury. Remember, mercury, it is toxic in three forms: inorganic mercury, yes, then organic mercury, then elemental mercury. Elemental mercury. Inorganic mercury is neurotoxic, yes, and organic mercury, it cannot be absorbed into the blood brain barrier. Yes, it is easily absorbed from the GI system, GI tract. So what happens, it is a potential toxic to the GI system, and then it is also toxic to the renal system. So if a person with the mercury toxicity and shows the symptoms of renal failure, then think that he has been poisoned with the organic mercury. Yes, he has been
Yes.
poisoned with organic mercury. And if at all the person has got mercury toxicity with all neurological symptoms, paralysis, peripheral numbness, ataxia, then mental confusion, then remember that the poison or toxicity is because of what? Inorganic mercury. Yes, then elemental mercury. So that causes a generalized symptoms of both. So you have to remember this is in general about mercury. Mercury, which is potentially toxic, that is methyl mercury, which is a very potential neurotoxin. And this toxin was seen in the miniature disease. And this methyl mercury, it was largely accumulated in the bodies of the fishes. Why I am stressing? Because it can be asked for you. Yes. Then
Yes, ma'am.
again, when they say that heavy metals, students remember in your hospital thermometer breaks. Yes, mercury falls down. Mercury comes out of the thermometer. Or if your sphygmomanometer, not digital, or BP apparatus containing mercury, if it breaks, mercury comes out. Be very, very, very careful in handling it. Yes, don't just throw it into the water source, that is sea, river. No, don't throw it, because it will enter the food chain. And in this food chain, what happen? Lower animals will eat this, it will get into their body, biomagnification will take place, and it will enter our humans. Then finally we will be affected, and lot of people will be killed. Yes,
Yes,
this
ma'am.
is all about the heavy metals. Why I told you here is that you can revise in your pharmacology, you can revise in your forensic, you can revise in your this part also, because we need to manage this waste very, very cautiously.
Okay,
Then
ma'am.
pressurized containers, like in hospitals we have got gas cylinders, like gas cartridges, aerosol cans like salbutamol cans, all these are pressurized what containers. So we need to handle them properly. Then radioactive waste are also there, so we need to take care of them properly. So these are the categories of waste. And students remember, in one of your NEET and FMG only, this pathological waste, especially question on fetus, was asked. And be careful with this heavy metals. Yes, this
Yes, ma'am.
classification was given by what? Whom?
WHO.
WHO. It is given even in your park textbook also. Next. Now, students, remember this. If you see your textbook of park, it says that there are 10 categories of waste. And these categories were given in which one? BMW, Biomedical Waste Management Guidelines of 1998. 1998, that older guideline is there, no? That guideline has given these 10 categories. Now, this BMW 2016 guideline, there are no these categories. Yes, students, any doubts here?
No, ma'am.
Are you getting my point? Am I audible and clear with the content?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
everything is very important for you. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So, biomedical waste guideline of 1998, it says that the waste can be categorized into 10 categories. But our 2016 guideline had been made very much simple. It says that there is no categories of the waste. Simply there are some color coding. How many are
Yes.
there? What is their color coding? So how many color coding are there? One, two, three, and four color coding as per what? Biomedical waste 2016 classification. Remember, students, if he is talking about categories of waste, means it is about 1998 classification. I don't think this category will be asked at present, because currently we are following this 16 guidelines. So what is the color coding for category 1? It is
Yellow.
yellow. What is category 2? It is
Red.
red. What is category 3, students?
Ma'am. Blue
3.
or
Yeah, tell me.
white,
Category
ma'am.
3. Just see here. This is a table category 1. that is yellow. Category 2 is red. Category 3 is what? Blue or white. Yes. Then category 4,
Black.
it is black. Yes, black. So these are the four color coding that is given under what this biomedical waste categorization BMW 2016 guidelines. Yes. Now let us see. So yellow category. So it means what? Here all the waste are put in which one? Plastic bags. Remember students, category 1 and 2. Yes, red color and yellow color category waste, they are always put in plastic bags. Have you all seen the plastic bags, students, in your hospital clinical wards?
Yes, ma'am.
Plastic bags. So they are put in plastic. Whereas blue or white, they are put in containers. Remember this. This is very important. That is, some boxes will be there. Some white color box or blue color box. So in those boxes, we put the waste. What type of waste we put in these boxes? All sharp waste. Because in plastic means it is a thin plastic. If you put the needle blade, what happens? It will cut the plastic and it will come out of that, and whoever touches that, again they will also get the laceration wound of because of those waste. So we don't put any sharp items in the plastic bags. So in the plastic bags, all non sharp items, remember this. Yes, and all sharp items are put in this blue and white. Which one? They are containers, puncture proof containers. Students, remember this word. Yes. Now let us see what all waste are put in this yellow bag. Yellow bag, what we put? All infectious waste. All infectious waste. And one more thing I want to tell you, that infectious. Then how do you treat this infectious waste? Burn them. That is incineration. All
Yes,
infectious waste, what we do? We burn them.
ma'am.
I for incineration, I for burning. Another mnemonic is that you see yellow color. Yellow, how many? Two yellow. Yellow is there. No, just remember. One yellow is for infectious. Another L, just remember that it is for incineration. That means yellow color bags are always used for what? All infected waste. And it is always how it is disposed by burning them. That method is called as what? Incineration. Then red bag. Remember students, red. R. So the upper thing you take this, that is all plastic waste. All plastic waste. That is tubes, Ryle's tube, Foley's catheter, all the tubes, whatever is there, all those plastic type of waste, they are disposed in which one, students? Red color waste. Then blue means what, students? Just remember, little bit difference is here. Blue color means what? Orthopedics, dental. Remember Smriti, Roshan, Akash, all the implants or screws. We use implants, right?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
So all the implants or screws, they are disposed in which one, students? Blue one. Then what about this white? White is syringe. How does it looks? Usually whitish in color, right? All those sharp needles, syringes, all these things are disposed in which one? White color. Blue means, remember, blue is for which one? Implants. All our ortho, surgery departments, and even dental department, they contain which one? Blue color bags, or not bags, containers. Yes. And white means, if at all question is asked for you, a syringe or a needle, okay, needle or scalpel, where do you dispose them? You dispose them in which one, students? White. If the implant is the question, students, are you all catching this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So implants, if the question is asked, then say that it is blue container. Never use plastic bags. It is container. Just keep it in your mind. Then black means what? All this paper waste. Yes. And whatever we eat, all the patient attendants ate paper waste, general waste, tissue papers, all this they are disposed in which one? Black color. Yes, this can be given to our whom? Municipality. Black color is given to whom, students? It is given to whom? Our municipality. So wherever the municipality they come, no, so for them we just you take this black bag and get away from here. But whereas these three, no, separately we need to treat them. Yes. Now let us see because questions are asked from this yellow color. What all infected waste are included? So here he says again category 1, 2, 3, 6. Now just go back to our previous slide. What is category 1? Human anatomical waste. That is body parts. For example, after delivery, placenta, where it is, in which color it is disposed, students? What is
Yellow.
the yellow color? Dead fetus, where it is disposed? Because questions are asked on this only. Placenta is disposed where? Newcomers, can you tell me dead fetus where it is disposed? Okay, I'll say you. What is
Yellow.
stillbirth? What is the definition of stillbirth? After 26 weeks of pregnancy, if the fetus is dead, then we call it as what? Stillbirth.
Yellow.
And there are other criteria also, right? Based on the body length and based on the body weight. So all these things I'll discuss in the nutrition and related chapters. So whenever there is a stillbirth or dead fetus, so all this will be discarded or disposed in which one? Yellow color bag. Yes, or
Yes.
after appendectomy, the part of the appendix where it is disposed, students, it is disposed in yellow color. Then category 2, animal waste. In a veterinary hospital, dead animals will be there, or postmortem waste, all these things, human postmortem or animal waste, or pharmacology department, physiology, all those frogs, rabbits, everything will be there, no? So all those again where they are disposed, yellow color. Then category 3, all our favorite microbes. So whatever cultures or stock specimens, all these vaccines, remember, this is again very important. Live or attenuated vaccine. Students, remember in which color plastic bag we dispose the vaccines? We dispose in yellow color. Very, very important. Or cultures. All these things we dispose again in yellow color. So then again, category 1 is human waste, category 2 is animal waste, category 3 is all our chotu chotu microbes. So all these microbiological waste, vaccines, all these are disposed in category 3. Then what else is disposed? That is category 3, that is solid waste. That is all the blood containing cotton, swabs or beddings, all these things again they are disposed in yellow color only. Then water disposed in red color. Red color again of possible this all these microbes, microbiological related waste, and even category 6. That is all the beddings, all this. Then what about category 7? Look at here. What is category 7? So it involves all these tubings or catheters. I told you know red color. We use all the plastic waste. That is Foley's catheter, Ryle's tube. All these are disposed in red color. Yes. Then what is disposed in white and blue? So that is category 4. What is category 4, students? It is waste sharp. Waste
Needle.
sharp means syringe. Sharp means always SS. Syringe, scalpel, blades, glass. All this comes under category 4. What is category 7? Just look at here. And again all this catheter tubes and all. So just remember this. So each color water thrown in. So yellow color infected because once the question has been asked on this, and another time question was asked on this red color. Yes. Next. After knowing all these various categories and color coding, just I want to brief you about different types of waste, biomedical waste disposal methods are there. So one is incineration. What is this incineration? It is a dry
High
heat.
temperature
So
dioxide.
whatever the waste is there, what we do, we apply lot of temperature. We heat the waste without, why we are calling dry? Because no water. Because when we heat this waste, no, we don't use any water because in autoclave, we call it as what? Wet heating. Autoclave is wet heating because water will be there. We heat the water, then what will happen? Steam will come, and this steam will what? It will throw away the already existing air, then it will cause the sterilization of the waste material. But in incineration, it is a dry heat method of oxidation. It is not reduction. Oxidation means what? Electrons. They are removed. So it is a dry heat oxidation method. What is the temperature that is recommended? Usually temperature in incineration is 1200 degrees, because students, again question has been asked for you on this. Yes, incineration is what, students? Am I audible? Akash,
Yes.
Smriti,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Roshan and others?
Yes,
So it
ma'am.
is a dry heat oxidation method, and here no water is used for heating. Only just the heat is given, that is burning is done, and then oxidation reaction will take place, and then the flue gas is produced. And this process we call it as what? Incineration. Incineration, what happens? Whatever the waste is there. Usually, what type of waste we put it for incineration? Simply, we can say that it is nothing but burning of waste. So, what type of waste are used for incineration? All the infected waste. Okay, because what happens if we throw it outside, then infected waste may become contagious or harmful to the public, right? So we need to burn them, or any waste that is not recyclable, any waste which we cannot recycle. That is recyclable waste means what? For example, this is mercury. Okay, this is a virgin mercury. That means virgin means what? Original. So now we have used this mercury. Now we have disposed it. Now what happened? Now in this recycling, if this same virginity is what maintained, or a new form is attained. So that we call it as what? Recycling. Now there are certain waste which cannot be regenerated or recycled, or it cannot be made use for anything. They are useless waste. So such type of waste are there. Such type of waste also we can burn them. Yes.
Yes.
Now incineration. So one machine is there. So the machine that is used for incineration is called as incinerators, and different types are there. So one is single chamber. Yes, single chamber incinerator, then double chamber pyrolytic incinerator. Pyrolytic means just we are heating them. Double chamber, then rotary clean incinerator. So different are there. From our health professional view, we need to note different things. Single chamber incinerator and double chamber are very important. Now look at this picture. Just I want to give you an idea. Now here BMW, that is what, students, can you all understand here? BMW
Yes.
is biomedical waste. So now feed means what? This is first chamber. One big chamber will be there. Students, am I audible for you?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So now this is a double chamber incinerator. What happens is that you open the box lid, you just open the lid, and then you put all your infected hospital waste. That is placenta, limbs, and all those waste you just put and dump it inside. Now what you do is like, air will be there, then you start burning it. Full fire will be there. So it will start burning, temperature will raise. Then what happens? Everything will be converted into what? Ash. Everything will be converted into ash. Now this ash will come out from this one particular outlet. Then along with ash, what is produced, students?
Carbon dioxide.
Flames are, that is gases are produced. These gases we called as what? Flue gases. Now what happens if it is a single chamber incinerator? What happens? There will be one big vent will be there, exhaust vent. So now this ash or the gases, whatever is there, it will just come out, and then I think if you see some big factors, the uh, fumes will just come out of the big vertical vents, right? So that is a single chamber incinerator. But in double chamber, what happens? This gas is also not good actually. They also contain so many toxic substance. Now the gas that is there, it will enter the second chamber. In the second chamber, temperature will be further high. Here, this gas, it is further purified at this higher temperature, and this gas will be made non-toxic, and this non-toxic gas will be sent out into the atmosphere. So this is what, how the double chamber incinerator work. And what is the drawback with this double chamber incinerator? It is expensive. It is expensive. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Students, are you all clear with this? Now, in one of your NEET exam and PG exam, the question was asked, what should be the material composition of incineration? Like if you want to put some material for incineration, what usually those material constitution should be? Nearly 60 to 65% of the material that needs to be incinerated should be of which one? Combustible material. That means when you burn them, yes, it should get burnt and it should come convert into what? Ashes. That we call it as what? Combustible material. Yes. Do you think placenta or any human body it will burn and convert into ashes?
No, ma'am.
Yes. Yes, it will be converted. So nearly 60 to 65% of the biomedical waste, it has to be of combustible material if you want to put it in incineration. And some 5% it is okay to have some non-combustible material. And what is one advantage with this incineration is that whatever some sludge or some additional waste that is produced, that can be used for the production of what? Electricity. That can be used for what? Production of electricity. So now what are the benefits of this incineration, students? One is all the infected, contagious, infectious waste is converted and it is made non-toxic. Yes, right?
Yes,
Second
ma'am.
thing is that we are able to generate the electricity also. Some good thing is also happening, but the problem is that it is very expensive. It is very expensive. Yes. So usually what happens, incineration is the best method, but if this incinerator machine is not available, like in our PHC, yes, or in sub centers, okay, students, in our sub center, if some surgery is done, body part has to be disposed, or in veterinary hospital some body part has to be disposed, and we don't have incinerator, then what is the alternate method, students?
Deep burial, ma'am.
Excellent answer. So we have to adjust to the situation. We can't demand that we need an incinerator. Fine. If that is not available for me, I will dig deep into the soil. Why we are saying just deep burial? Because just simple burial is not enough. Deep we should go. Otherwise, what happen? The infected material will be on the superficial layer of the soil, and again all this water leaching, and then what happens? It will lead to the cycle of the ecosystem, and again it will contaminate us only. Yes, so again deep burial is the alternate option. So again MCQ has been asked, in a PHC if there is no incinerator, then how do you dispose the infected waste? Just do the deep burial. Just don't say it is burial is wrong. It is deep burial. So the picture shown here is what? Double chamber incinerator. Why I'm showing you picture? Because nowadays lot of picture based questions are also asked. Next, another type of waste, biomedical waste disposal is screw feed technology. Have you all seen this, students? Screw feed technology? Students?
No.
Okay, just remember it is a non-burn dry thermal disinfection. So have you all seen this big mortar mixing or cement mixing outside in the road?
Yes.
One big rotary cleaner will be there. So it will you put all the cement, small pieces of stones. It will rotate. That auger machine we call, no?
Yes, ma'am.
AUGER.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it is same thing like this only. So what we do is like one auger machine will be there. So we put all our hospital waste into this, and then what happens? You just pass on the current or motor will be on, and then it will just rotate. It will what? Split all these waste particles into pieces. That we call it as what? Shredding. So shredding means what? You are mutilating. That means what? You are mutilating or cutting the waste. Yes. So all this waste it will be rotated. It will be cut. Okay. No fire is given. No fire. That is why we call it as a non-burn, and no water is used. Okay. Then only dry thermal disinfection. Now, what is the advantage of this? Remember, students, whatever the waste is there, the volume of the waste is reduced by 80%, and the weight of the waste is reduced by 20 to 35%. This is very important. See, these are all the alternatives for us. Okay, if incinerator is not there, think of this screw fit technology. If this is also not able possible for you to purchase, then best is deep burial. That is the best thing for us. Yes. So here, what is the advantage? It is a non-burn and 80% of the volume reduction and 35% of the weight reduction, and it is suitable for the infectious waste and sharp waste, and it cannot be used for radioactive waste and cytotoxic waste, because again MCQ has been asked for you on this particular chapter also. Yes, whatever I am putting here, no, everything has been asked for you. Next, students, just look at here. What is this? Is it a cement bag? Bharti cement or whatever, so many cement, Birla cement. What is this actually? Students, students,
Like,
can you see? For example, I'll give you an example. Now, Akash or Roshan or Smriti, people have got a hospital. Now, what happens in this hospital? Lot of waste is generated, and all this waste are what? Toxic waste. Yes, and you don't have any space to you don't have any space to dispose this waste, then you don't have much of people to dispose. Now what is the thing alternative available for you? No storage is also available. Now what I will do, I will convert this toxic waste into which one? Non toxic waste. Non toxic waste. Yes, now all these body parts or all these blood parts or the gas pieces or all these used syringes, needles, what I will do, all this infected waste, I will put what? Cement. Just get the cement, nicely put 15% of cement, 15% of lime, 5% of water, 65% of waste. Put all this, nicely mix this. So what happens? This toxic waste will be converted into non-toxic waste, and this non-toxic waste is what? Now it is inert. Inert means what? Now it is no way capable of causing any disease or hazard to the humans or the animals. Yes, so that we call it as what? Inertization of the waste material. So inertization means what? It is a process by which toxic waste is converted into non-toxic waste. So this method we call it as what? Inertization. Now question has been asked for you. Inertization, what are we use? 15% cement, 15% lime, 65% waste should be there, and 5% water. So
yes,
now
ma'am.
once you mix, everything will be like this. Now students, now you store it in your hospital. Now if you see this, what is this? If you don't get confused, it is nothing but the inertization. Remember these pictures, because pictorial memory is very important and it is best memory also. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, microwaving. Now, what is happening? It is something like our autoclave only, but it is a different thing. In microwaving, what we use, like these cells will be there, body parts or microorganisms. Now, these waves they enter, they hit the water molecules, they split them, and then what? They will kill them. So, what happens? It has got sidal effect. It has got sidal effect on the pathological or the infected cells. Now how this effect is happening? Because in microwaving there are some waves of 12 nanometer. Remember this, very very important. In microwaving, what is the wavelength used? That is 12 nanometer. And what is the frequency? 2450 megahertz. This is the frequency. Yes. Now, when we, what happens when these waves are produced? They will enter this and they will hit the water molecules of the cells, and these water molecules will be split, and nascent oxygen is released, and the cells are killed. And it works on the principle of convection current. Yes.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
how do you know that this microwaving is functioning or no? Otherwise, simply you dump all your waste, switch on the microwave, and once the time is recommended time is over, you take out the waste. No, you need to confirm, right, whether my microwave machine is working or no. How do you confirm? It is confirmation is done by using spores of
Bacillus.
Bacillus atrophius.
Yes,
Remember
ma'am.
this. Bacillus atrophius. Now you put these strips of Bacillus atrophius in the microwave. Then once the microwaving is done, process is done, take out these strips, put it in the culture media. If this organisms grows, that means what? Your microwave is useless. It is not functioning. Yes. If
Yes,
these
ma'am.
spores they don't grow, that means yes, your microwaving is fine. Why I am mentioning again this? Because it is very, very, very important for you. In microbiology, this question can be asked. Again, from here also, question can be asked. What is the wavelength, student? 12 nanometer. What is the frequency? 2450 megahertz. And what is the principal convection currents? And how do you check for the efficiency of this microwaving? By using the spores of Bacillus atrophis. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, autoclaving, very, very important. Now there are some biomedical waste, usually which are what? Biodegradable waste. Biodegradable waste or sometimes non-biodegradable waste also we can use. And what is the principle of autoclaving? Autoclaving is nothing but wet sterilization. What happens in autoclaving? Water will be there. We heat the water. Then what will produce? Steam is produced. Yes. Now what will happen? This steam, it will go up. Then what it will do? It will, because it is light weighted, it's the molecules of the steam or what, they are light weighted. And in this autoclave machine already some air particles will be there. And as the steam is produced, this light particle steam, it will just come. Initially they will be at the topmost part of the autoclave. Then it will push the heavy weighted air particles, and then there will be a vent, and this air particles, it will go out. And later this chamber will be occupied only by the steam. Yes, will be occupied by the steam. Now when this steam is under pressure at, that is 15 pascals psi, and if it, this pressure under this temperature 121 degrees centigrade is maintained for 45 minutes, then it will kill all the pathogenic organisms, usually the spores also they say. Yes. So this is
Yes, ma'am.
what is the principle of what? Autoclaving. This autoclave is of two types. In the field of medical, we use two types of autoclave. One is gravity type, another is, which one, students? Vacuum type of autoclaving. So based on our need, we use whichever we want. In gravity type, it is most commonly used. Most commonly used. Now what I described, no, it is nothing but gravity type of autoclaving. So when do we use this gravity type? In gravity type, what happens? The steam pressure, whatever is there, no, for example, this is all some matter, I want to sterilize it. Yes. Now this steam, it will go and touch the outside only. So this happens in gravity type. Whereas in vacuum, what happens? This vacuum type of autoclave, what happens? For example, syringes are there, some surgical items are there. What we do, we put it in some cloth covering, right, students? Some cassettes and all we use, right? Inside some cassette will be there, we put scissor, blades, and some dresses will be there, and one cover will be there. This we will put it in autoclave machine, right? Now what happens? Normal gravity type autoclave, it will just this stream will go and touch only outside of this. Yes. But whereas in vacuum type, it will just suck all the air that is present, which is even inside these boxes also. Now what will happen? All this steam which is under pressure, it will enter into the deepest part of the items that are put in the autoclave machine, and everything will be perfectly sterilized. That is the working of vacuum autoclaving. Yes, clear, students? Don't go much in details about that. Okay, just you have to know autoclaving is what? Wet sterilization. Yes, wet sterilization, because water is used here. And what is the temperature here? 121 degrees, and pressure is 15 psi, and kept for 45 minutes. Are you all clear, students?
Yes,
It
ma'am.
is kept for how much? 45
Minute.
minutes. And how do you check the efficacy of this autoclaving? So, how do you check whether it is functioning or not? We use the spores of Geobacillus stereothermophilus, GBS. Remember this. Then composting. So here what we do, biomedical waste, then we use the soil. So biomedical waste, then what is kept there? Then soil we add to this, soil is added, then a layer of cow dung. So a layer of cow dung. So all this we add, then we keep it for some days, 7 days or some days, then heat will be generated. Then due to this heat, anaerobic environment is created, and all the pathological or infectious waste, they are totally converted into compost or the manure. So this method we call it as what? Bangalore technique or anaerobic method. So it can be used even for our disposal of biomedical waste. Then vermicompositing. Vermicompositing means what? Here we use the worms, especially which one? Earthworm. And the question asked is which type of worm is used here? It is Eisenia phytodia. This is the scientific name of this earthworm. So what we do? Biomedical waste plus you add these worms. Can you all see the worms here? So we add these worms, then you put a layer of soil, then you add cow dung also. That is mature cow dung. Then you add the coconut husk. So you add, mix everything and you put it. After some days, what happens? A nice manure is produced from this infectious waste. So this method we call it as what? Vermicompositing. So you have to know the name of this earthworm. Now encapsulation. So this is like what we do. Biomedical waste is there, and then we put this waste in a container and fill this container with what? Material like cement or sand. Then you seal this. So this is what is about the encapsulation. Totally you are sealing it. Yes, are you all clear with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Yes.
Now shall we solve with the MCQs related to this biomedical waste? Okay, look at the question. Now, after knowing the theory part of this, hospital waste product accounts for. So it is asking initially only I told you paper waste. How much it contributes?
Paper waste, ma'am,
Ah,
15%.
15%. Now see how much it is given 40%. It is more, right? So this
Yes,
option is wrong. Then what about plastic waste? Plastic. We
Yes,
already
ma'am.
discussed
10%.
correct.
10%. Yes, this is correct. Glass. I told you. It
4,
is how much?
4, ma'am.
4%.
4%. This is also correct. Rags, how much it is? This rags
15.
also again it is 50%.
15.
Infectious waste, how much it is?
1.5.
1.5%. So now this is also wrong, this is also wrong. Now which are the correct options in this? Plastic waste and glass. Yes, Smriti and Akarsh,
Yes,
Roshan,
ma'am.
are you all clear?
Yes,
Newcomers? So
Yes,
why
ma'am.
I told you because you need to know the composition of the general hospital waste. So right option is plastic waste and glass. Infectious waste always 1.5%. Remember this. Next. See already it is mentioned over here. Yes. Now let us see the second MCQ. A HIV positive patient is being infused amphotericin B for fungal systemic infection. Uh, Patient's IV cannula and tubing should be managed as which of the following? Now he is saying that IV cannula and tubing. Students remember. Now what did I tell you? All the tubes or all the plastics where it should be disposed. It should be put in which color coded bag?
Red.
Students,
Blue.
Red, ma'am.
Right,
red,
sorry.
red, Akash. Remember,
Right.
blue means always implant screw. Plastic means red color. See, plastic. Yes, if you draw a line, what will happen? It will become red color, right? Just to remember. Yes, all tubes or Riles tube or any cannula or tubing, if they say what you have to say, it should be disposed in which one, students?
Red bag.
Red bag. Let them create any story. Let it be HIV patient, let it be hepatitis patient, let it be meningitis patient, and let it be any encephalitis, anything. But what we are disposing here, tubings, cannula, and all this should be disposed where, students? It should be disposed in red color bag. If they say a metal container with a puncture proof means which one? It should be all syringes,
Yes, ma'am.
scalpels, needles, all these should be disposed in which one? This particular one. And disinfect in 5% hypochlorite and put in yellow bag. This is for which one? Usually liquid waste. Yes, black bag is for all general waste. Next. True about incinerator. Incinerator means what? We are just burning. So incinerator means what? What type of waste are put for incinerator? Yellow color. Remember,
Hello.
student. any yellow bag, whichever yellow bag containing the waste, it should be always put it for incinerator. So true about incinerator, he is asking true statement. So can you put red color bag in incinerator?
No,
No.
ma'am.
Where do you put the red color bag? We put the red color bag for which one? Autoclaving or microwaving, all this. Why? Because tubes contains what? Cadmium. What? Cadmium. Now, what happens when you put these tubes and PVC in incinerator? All the toxic gases are produced, toxic fumes are produced, and when we inhale these toxic fumes, then we will get all the respiratory and non-respiratory diseases. Already, lot of air pollution is there, and to this air pollution, we are further adding additional pollution. So, true about incinerator is that what we should do? Yellow
Yellow bag.
bags must be incinerated. Red bags, please don't incinerate because red bags contains tubes. These tubes usually contain what? Cadmium.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Then sharp waste means what? Just a second. So sharp waste means what? The sharp waste, it should be
Needle
put in
syringes.
white metal proof container. Then combustible material about 30% no, because we have learned the composition of this materials for incineration. That is nearly 60 to 65% of the material to be put in incineration should be what? It should be of combustible material.
Yes, ma'am.
ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ ಇದು? So the right option is yellow color bag. Just a second, there is some problem over here. Okay. Now next question is urine bag and catheter. Am I audible for you students?
Yes, ma'am.
So urine bag and catheter biomedical waste will be disposed in. Again remember students, urine bag, catheter.
Red.
Yes, again it should be disposed in which one?
Red.
Red color. Yes, next. Not true about screw feed technique. Because what is screw feed technique? What did I told you? One auger machine will be there. Okay, no burning here. Yes, I hope you remember the picture. Auger machine, then biomedical waste, then you nicely rotate it. Then there will be reduction volume and weight. Yes, this is what we
Yes,
have
ma'am.
learned about screw feed technique. So, not true, he is saying. So, in screw feed
Pathological.
technique, 80% of the waste volume is reduced. If this is the amount of waste which I used, then once you put it in the screw feed machine, it will become only this much. Yes. So what happens? 80% reduction in volume of the waste. Then pathological waste are removed.
No, ma'am.
Yes. Pathological waste. No, we cannot use the pathological waste in this screw fit technique. Then what about the weight? Weight is reduced by 20 to 30%. It is also correct. Then
Yes,
it
ma'am.
is based on non-burn. No fire is used. Only thermal treatment. Just we give the heat through electricity. So what is the uh, correct answer for this particular question? We don't
Second.
use pathological waste for this screw fit technique. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, biomedical waste mixing with cement is known as. It is very easy for you. When we mix the waste with the cement,
Inertization.
it is called as what? Inertization.
Inertization.
When we
Sanitization.
burn and we get ashes, it is incineration. Shredding means what? Cutting into pieces. Shredding means what? Cutting into pieces. Yes, for example, a gauze piece is there or some tubes are there. For example, I'll tell you one thing. A gauze piece on Riles tube, Foley's catheter tube, all these tubes are there. What we can do is that if autoclave is not available, nothing is there, nicely you cut them, okay? Cut them into pieces. Then what we will do? You will use it for road construction all over national highways and all, no, you put damper and all, no, in that what is used all over hospital waste only. So whenever you fall on those road, please make sure that you take TT, because all that waste, no, usually we disinfect them, then we cut them and give it for road construction, but still those waste, they are harmful only. Yes, then
Yes, ma'am.
autoclaving anyway we know. So any biomedical waste mixed with cement is known as what? Inertization. Next, uh, outdated cytotoxic drugs are best disposed by. Cytotoxic drugs. So what we do? Cytotoxic drugs means usually the cancer drugs which has got direct effect on our cell and the cellular organelles. So how do we just dispose them? So do we distract and then dump? No, because we can't dump them. That is not possible. We can't give it to the municipal waste or we cannot store them. So what method we can use? Autoclaving can be done. Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
students clear with this? Next, plastic cover of syringes are disposed in. Now listen to the question here. We are not disposing the syringe. Syringe is a plastic material. If the question is asked that syringe, then syringe will be disposed in which one? Yellow bag. Yes. If the
Yes, ma'am.
needle of the syringe,
Sorry.
then it will be disposed in white
Right.
bag or container. But he is saying plastic cover, which has
Black
never
bag.
come in contact with the patient. It should be disposed in which one?
Black bag.
Yes,
Black bag. Are you all clear, students? It
Yes,
should be
ma'am.
yes,
disposed in black
The
bag.
black
Next, waste disposal of placenta after delivery is done by.
incineration.
So, yes. Are you all clear with this? Placenta is what? Human body part. It is
yes.
always
Anatomy.
a human body part. It should be incinerated. So the answer here is straightforward. It is
Incineration.
incineration. Now just look at some of this symbol. So this is a symbol of which one, students? It is a symbol of bio. Hello, am I audible, students?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, now some question can be asked. It is a symbol of biohazard. Now, what is the logic over here? Now, the logic here is that if you turn this symbol ulta pulta or in any direction, the symbol will give the same picture only. If you just take this symbol and you just rotate it or put it up and down, it will anytime it will look like this only. So that means what? What are these symbols? The symbols are nothing but easy for the public to remember. If any bag it contains this particular symbol means that you should be very careful in handling those particular items because they are always infectious or hazardous to the humans. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, this symbol it indicates cytotoxic hazard symbol. Usually, cytotoxic drugs or any drugs or items that contain cytotoxic material, they should be designated with this C symbol. Now, remember if there is a yellow color bag or red color bag, now on top of those bags, you will usually see this biohazard symbol or blue bag also you will see this biohazard symbol. Yes, can you see this biohazard symbol on black bag?
No, ma'am.
No,
Smriti, Roshan,
no,
Akash?
ma'am.
No, we don't see because black bag is just a garbage. It's a paper waste. It is. It is not an infected waste. So usually on the black bag, we don't see this particular biohazard symbol. And what is this recycling symbol? Now tell me if there is a mercury, how we will dispose this? So we take a proper glass container, fresh glass container. So don't mix anything to this, just put the mercury in this. Okay. Then you send it for recycling. You send it for what? Recycling. Look at the symbol over here. So this symbol says that the material can be recycled. Now, whatever the mercury that has been spilled, Now you send it to this recycling unit. So they will again reproduce this mercury, and this mercury can be same reutilized for the production of thermometers or sphygmomanometers, or for the production of the tube lights or the bulbs or any electricity department. It can be reused. Yes, usually in this recycling, what happens is that three types of recycling are there. How many types are there? Students, newcomers, how many types of recycling? Primary recycling, secondary recycling, and tertiary recycling. Just remember this. Primary recycling means the item, whatever is there, it is reused as it is after proper disinfection. That we call it as what? Primary recycling. Secondary recycling means what? For example, if the there is a vial is there. For example, some drug is there, it is there in vial. Now what we will do, this vial we use, drug is taken out. Now in this empty vial, instead of throwing, what we will do, we will nicely disinfect with some solution. Then what we will do, we will reuse it for storing some small tissue waste or whatever it is, something we'll put it inside. So that we call it as what? Secondary waste. So we are just converting the original material and we are just remodifying it for the further use. Tertiary recycling means totally the form structure of the original material is converted into a newer form. So that we call it as what? Tertiary recycling. So here what is happening is that any mercury containing items, it should be sent for recycling. Remember this. Any mercury containing items, it should be sent for recycling. So mercury, how it is disposed? You collect and send it for recycling. Yes, recycling can be primary, secondary, or tertiary. Yes, primary means as such, the original item is the same way it is reused. So just these differences you need to remember. Then one more thing, if I want to ask you, if there is a blood spillage, if there is a blood spillage, so patient has come, blood has fallen down, then how do you clean that blood spillage? How do you clean that? Students, how do you clean that? Wear the gloves. Am I audible, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what? How do you clean the blood spillage? So you wear the gloves, then you use 1% of sodium hypochlorite solution. 1% of sodium hypochlorite. So how do you use this hypochlorite to prepare this 1% sodium hypochlorite? 6 is to 1 ratio. That is, you take 6 mugs of water. 6 mugs of water. To this you add some 1 ml or 1 drop of what? Sodium hypochlorite solution, and you mix it. Then you will get 1% of the hypochlorite. Now what happens is that you take this and put it over the blood spill, and then nicely you clean it so that maximum pathological organisms, even HIV, uh, virus, even Hep virus, all this will be killed using this 1% sodium hypochlorite. How does it work? Water. Then what happens? Hypochlorite contains what? Chlorine, right? Do you all agree with this? When this water and chlorine, when they get mixed, what happens? There will be production of hypochlorous acid. Further, it will dissociates into hypochlorite ions. I mean hypochlorite. Then further, it will get into the cell, and then it will kill the microorganism cells, leading to the sidal effect. And this sidal effect is especially seen on HIV Hep organisms. So this is the reason blood spills, we always make use of sodium hypochlorite, especially 1% concentration is more than enough. Yes.
Yes,
Any
ma'am.
doubts, students?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Are you all clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Just know the symbols, and sometimes know this recycling symbol in the middle, some numbers will be written. 3, 6, 4, some single digit numbers will be written. So don't get confused and all. It is like what amount or percentage of the recycling can be done using that particular item. So don't break your head for all those things. Just you remember this particular symbol. Yes. So tomorrow we will discuss on the disaster management. Any doubts here for this biomedical waste?
No, ma'am.
Are you all clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what all we have seen today, students? So first we have seen biomedical waste. It comes under which act? Environmental Protection Act. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
which year and how many chapters it has, how many schedules it has, and our biomedical waste it comes under which three schedules. All those things you have to remember. And when was the modification done? Yes, the recent modification 2016 guidelines. Here, no categories are there. In this 2016 guidelines, how many schedules are there, students? Only
4.
four schedules are there. In that category 3 is very important. In this category 3, they have mentioned who are the officers and what are their duties, that is, authorities and their duties. And here, no categories are mentioned. Only color coding is given. So, only four color coding. Yes, yellow, red, blue or white, then black.
Black.
This is very simple. All yellow color is incinerated, red is it is autoclaved. Okay. Then after this blue or white, again it can be like autoclaved or it can be incinerated, and black it can be sent to municipality. So landfill, sanitary landfill, all this can be done for this. Yes. So generally we have learned about different techniques also. So tomorrow shall we re-meet again,
Yes, ma'am.
students? So now today you go
Yes.
solve all the MCQ. And one more MCQ I want to tell you is that the for example infected blood packet or whatever is there, blood bag. Now where do you dispose in the blood bag? Do you dispose it in a yellow color or do you dispose it in red color? Blood bag should be disposed in yellow color.
Hello.
Yes, because
Yes,
blood
ma'am.
bag means definitely it is an infectious thing. So,
Infectious,
and
ma'am.
empty
Yeah.
blood bag it should be disposed in yellow color. Yes. Today,
Yes,
go
ma'am.
through
Yes, ma'am.
all your MCQs related to biomedical waste management and solve them. I think you will be able to do all those things. Yes, tomorrow, disaster management. Fine.
Yes,
Okay, ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.